insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years. With Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one, and you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period, and no annoying trips to the doctors either.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To get a free life insurance quote, call our friendly UK team on 0800 542 1545 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Fancy a free game? Beat the banker in Tombola's daily free Deal or No Deal game. There's up to £1,000 to be won. Play for free every day.
If you won't do it for you, do it for your grandchild, who's mad you didn't hear her joke.
Book a free hearing test at bootshearingcare.com.
With unexpected bills, it's funny how nobody comes to save you.
You can't park there, mate.
Short-term loans from £50 to £1,500 from lendingstream.co.uk.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Hello and welcome. This is India Global. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. This show gets you all the stories that matter in the first 30 minutes. But first up, let's get you the headlines we're tracking. Countdown to the Alaska summit. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are all set to meet on the 15th of August. Reports indicate US may also invite Ukrainian President Zelenskyy to Alaska summit. Will this actually lead to peace? Will there be a ceasefire? India Global tells you more. Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir is in US in his second trip in as many months, and from there, from US, he hits out with fresh nuclear threat on American soil. What you hear from Asim Munir is a nuclear threat. He says we will take down half the world with it. We'll tell you why that is laughable at many levels. India-Pakistan to hold separate naval drills in the Arabian Sea. The first since Operation Sindoor. The two drills will be held 50 nautical miles apart. Chip giants NVIDIA and AMD to pay 15% of their China revenues to America amidst growing tariff threats that US President Donald Trump is hitting out at tech companies. And after Mumbai, EV giant Tesla now drives into New Delhi, and the Delhi showroom will be located at Walmart in AeroCity. Kashmiri girl, 10-year-old Kashmiri girl, Atika Mir makes waves in international motorsport. An Indian woman in Formula One. Wait could end soon. The first story that we're tracking on the show, viewers, reports indicate that White House, which is hosting Russian President Vladimir Putin on the 15th of August, may also, in fact, host a Ukrainian president. Now, 15th of August is when the Alaska summit will be held. That's the key summit where there's expectation of some sort of a breakthrough in the Russia-Ukraine war. It's been grinding on for 3 long years, over 3 years actually. Donald Trump said that he's going to end it in 24 hours. He hasn't been able to do so. He's trying now for an Alaska summit. Will he get the two parties, both the parties on board? Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to be there. Will Ukrainian president also come to the Alaska summit is the key question. There's been a lot of hesitation from Donald Trump's side, but his European allies were wanting that he should invite the other party as well. Let's get you now what exactly to expect as far as this visit is concerned. Let's get that for you in terms of what is it that Donald Trump and Putin visit will mean for this visit. Okay, the first thing to expect, US appears to be seriously considering Russia's concerns. For the very first time, this is being thought about, that what Russia has been saying all along in terms of the specific threats it has faced and the reason why it feels this war it had to start, Donald Trump is actually paying heed to that. Let's move ahead. Let's tell you the other important aspect. No truce unless the deal suits Russia's interest. Now, this is something that is almost beginning to look like that this is favoring the Russian side. Will that be the case? And in that situation, will a deal actually take place is the key question. Let's move ahead and tell you the other aspect. Unlikely that Russia will compromise due to economic pressure. Now, there's been a lot of talk about how Russian oil, is going to get sanctioned. Donald Trump, of course, is a man known for contradictions and man known for hyperbole more than anything else. He's said a lot about, Russian oil. Will he go ahead and probably put more sanctions? Could that mean that Vladimir Putin will agree? The answer to that looks like no. The other aspect, secondary sanctions as leverage to get Russia to negotiate. Could that be something that both men will talk about? And could that lead to some sort of a breakthrough and a ceasefire? We'll get to know that in just a minute. In fact, in just a couple of days, actually, because, let's not forget that while 15th August is a very important date in the Russia-Ukraine timeline, the Russian economy, the Russian war machinery, and the Russian president have held out. They've held out for 3.5 years. Arm twisting, many feel may work, but may not. Deadlock continues as Ukraine, Russia don't budge. Let's get you the other aspect. Why is it that Alaska is actually the reason why this summit is taking place there? Now, the historical significance of this meeting is important. Next up, now Russia actually sold US Alaska in 1867, which is another very important reason why. Remember, there's a lot of hesitation from the Russian president's side to not travel to American territory. Which is why Alaska fits the bill in the middle. Next up, its proximity to Russia, the rich history that it shares in terms of a lot of deep connects and historical cultural linkages to Russia is the reason why Vladimir Putin is coming to Alaska. Lastly, it is strategically located. The Arctic location where Russia is actually a far bigger player than the US is the reason why Alaska is the reason why it's actually taking place. Next up and lastly, let's get you the big questions that we are putting out on the show, and then we get in our guest joining us on this, which is first and foremost, will Ukraine be included in these negotiations? I spoke about it at the beginning of the show, but will that actually happen? Next up, let's quickly take that. Are territorial swaps on the table? There's been a lot of territory that has exchanged hands. Could territory swapping really be the big possible way to end this? Next up, what kinds of security guarantees will Ukraine receive? Will there actually be any security guarantees? Donald Trump has said, no, you got to pay for your own security. And that's really been the reason why this war has been continuing. Will that change? Lastly, how will EU and NATO factor into these discussions? Well, that's a question that most of EU and NATO also is looking, hopefully, to get some answers to. They don't have it because Donald Trump feels that he doesn't want anybody else to be part of these negotiations except the two men. Will that be a reason why this may not happen? Let's get in our guest joining us, Mr. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, joining us live to talk more on this. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Let me start by first asking you, in fact, let me go back and ask you this question, which is that in terms of your expectations to end this war, the summit is extremely important, but are you keeping tempered expectations?
Reservations from the very outset. Because first things first, Mr. Putin is looking to come in from the cold. He is an international pariah in more ways than one. And the summit affords him optics of being seen at the world stage as a global player again, which is what he's always wanted and coveted, a summit and meeting directly with President Trump. Of course, we are talking about a KGB intelligence officer who has the measure of Trump, which can't be said vice versa, as Mr. Trump himself has expressed personal exasperation in the last few weeks that he cannot fathom Mr. Putin. Well, the rest of us certainly fathom what he wants, namely reducing Ukraine to a vassal state like Belarus, and that his so-called claims that Ukraine would be a threat are anything but true. If anything, what Mr. Putin is looking for is biding time to regroup and attack Ukraine again in the not too near future. Russian casualties, as we speak, are running at 1,072 a day. And they've already crossed, in terms of casualties, both civilians and soldiers, about 1 million since the onset of the war. It is true, Ukraine is being depleted even heavily as such. The Russians have made some progress in the last month of capturing 225 square miles, which has come at a considerable cost. The point is that it is also recruiting, that is, Moscow is recruiting 9,000 more men each month as it loses. And Mr. Zelenskyy, for his part, has reduced the conscription age to 25. But that does not help because Ukraine's demographics work against its favor. But then so does Russia's economy, as Russian economists have warned Mr. Putin. They are running a deficit of 45.3 billion pounds this year, which is a hike of over that is approximately 4.88 trillion rubles. So it is not exactly going swimmingly for Mr. Putin as such, though he is fanatically hell-bent on his aims of reducing Ukraine to a vassal state.
All right, we leave it there. Barzin Wagmar of SOAS, South Asia Institute, University of London, joining us live from London to talk about what could possibly be the best possible outcome as far as the Russia-Ukraine summit that's scheduled for 15th of August. Turning attention now to the other big story that we are tracking on the show, viewers. Even as Operation Sindoor continues, navies of India and Pakistan are set to conduct separate naval drills in the Arabian Sea on 11th and 12th of August. Over the course of the next 2 days, there's overlapping schedules points to heightened military activity in the strategically significant Arabian Sea. Now, it's a key route for maritime trade, crucial for regional security, and the development comes months after Operation Sindoor, which took place in early May, the 4-day conflict in which India ensured that Pakistan sought the ceasefire. Now, tensions haven't been completely de-escalated since then, and these naval drills are extremely important. They are parallel, simultaneous, meant to send out a message. Let's get our guest to talk more about it. Dr. Abhinav Pandya joins us for more on this. Now, Dr. Pandya, your sense in terms of the messaging that is coming out as far as these drills are concerned, and the narrative that we're going to come to in just a bit. But first up, your first thoughts on these parallel drills.
Well, I think that, these parallel bring sorry, am I audible?
Of course you are. Yes, you're on air. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, these parallel naval drills have generated a lot of, I must say, a lot of uproar in the strategic community. That why it's happening this time? Is it a mere coincidence? Well, I cannot really comment upon the timing of these drills, whether it was pre-decided or there was any deliberate intention.
No, I'm not even asking you that. I'm not even asking you. I'm only asking you from the point of view of the messaging this sends out. The tensions remain between India and Pakistan. You have the Pakistani army chief going on a rant, saying all sorts of laughable things. In the backdrop of these multiple developments that are taking place, these drills that are taking place simultaneously are extremely significant. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, the messaging is very clear. Operation Sindoor still continues, and yesterday only Army Chief said that we must be prepared for another war. And we see that day by day the tensions are increasing between the two countries. Just day before yesterday, Indian Air Force chiefs made it explicitly clear that India shot down 6 fighter jets. So I feel that this is a time when these tensions are going to escalate in the future. And there is a possibility of outbreak or another escalation, maybe perhaps in another few months, or let's say possibly next year. So the situation looks very critical at this stage right now. Though Pakistan, after the Operation Sindoor, we made it explicitly clear that any terror attack on our territory would be considered as an act of war. So on that count, we are still, we are yet to witness any major incident, but still encounters are happening every day in Jammu and Kashmir. So the situation continues to remain tense. And also one more thing, whenever the next conflict takes place, in that Navy will play a crucial role. Because even in the recent conflict which we came to know that Prime Minister told the naval chief that you will be given another chance. So that clearly signals that in the next conflict, Navy will have a major role to play. Even in the most recent conflict, this Karachi attack was called off at the last moment. So I think that this naval drill also signifies that in the future conflict, Navy will have a critical role to play.
All right, we leave it there. Dr. Abhinav Pandya, you said something very significant, which is that as Operation Sindoor remains underway, the fact that these naval drills are taking place by India indicate potentially the role of Indian Navy going forward. In fact, staying with Pakistan, viewers, I talked about the ranting that Pakistan has and the army chief has been saying, where he recently, can you believe it? He actually spoke about a nuclear war from American soil. He had actually gone there. It was a black tie event. Imagine a black tie event where you have Pakistani army chief going and saying and talking about a nuclear threat, saying that I'm going to blow up half the world if something happens to Pakistan. Now, it's laughable at so many levels. He'd actually gone there for a farewell. And this is the kind of messaging he comes out with. These remarks were the first nuclear threats that were thrown and that were actually known to have ever been delivered from US soil against a third country. As I said, one can either dismiss it as a rant from the Pakistani army chief, or if one were to decode it, you can understand the sinister play that Pakistanis really are looking at. Let's get in my colleague Mohammad Ghazali joining us live for more on this. Now, Ghazali, as we've been telling our viewers, imagine a black tie event where it's a farewell event where you've actually gone, and what you come out and talk about is a nuclear threat on American soil against a third country. This is what the Pakistani army chief has actually said. What are your sources telling you about Asim Muni's latest rant?
See, first it is very ironical, Gauri, that it has come from American soil, the same America which kept threatening Iran that Iran should not develop a nuclear weapon, and there was a 11-day war over it. But besides that, it particularly shows one thing. The Pakistani sources claim that perhaps Mr. Munir is also sort of looking himself or elevating himself in a sense to be the prime minister candidate or the presidential candidate in Pakistan. He also remarked He also made a remarks there saying that perhaps the security and politics should not be left aside and it should not be just left to the politicians. But besides that, he made some very anti-India rabid remarks, the same jugular vein remarks which he made before the Operation Sindoor in an event in US, and yet again back in Pakistan, and the same kind of remarks that will take down half the world if we are at threat. We can manage India with 10 missiles, and we have plenty of missiles, and also trying to boast of the relations between US and Pakistan as far as the security is concerned.
All right, we leave it there. Mohammad Ghazali joining us live to talk more about the rant that Pakistani army chief really gave. Well, viewers, on that note, a quick break. We return on the other side of India Global with more stories, including what is it that chip giants now have to do in the wake of growing Trump tariffs that are being levied on them. We come back and talk more on that.
Summer's heating up with People's Postcode Lottery.
Oh my gosh!
In our September draws, you could win a share of £20.8 million.
I've just won the postcode lottery.
No way!
Twice.
Could a big summertime win land in your postcode?
Wow!
Sign up before midnight on the 21st of August. A share of £20.8 million could be yours, but only if your door is in the draw.
You can count on Staysure, the UK's favourite travel insurance provider. We specialise in cover for over 50s with pre-existing medical conditions. And there's no age limit. Whether you're planning an epic, once-in-a-lifetime adventure or revisiting your favourite holiday spot one more time, we offer cover for single or multiple trips throughout the year. Stay Sure Travel Insurance, the UK's favourite. Get your quote online or give us a call today. Sale now on.
Viewers, the other story that we are tracking on the show, big one that impacts tech giants, NVIDIA and AMD, who've agreed to actually give the US government 15% of revenues from sales to China of advanced computer chips like NVIDIA's H20 that are used for artificial intelligence applications. A US official said this. Now, why is this happening? Because Donald Trump has been telling, and in fact, he's been hitting out at tech companies saying that they need to ensure that they have their supply chains in US and not in China. That can't happen overnight. To be able to placate the US president, this is what they are doing. 15% of revenues is actually a very big number because NVIDIA is one of the largest companies in the world. You're talking about billions and billions of dollars here that could be at play. Let's get in Kanishk Gaur to talk about what this could potentially mean. He's a CEO of Athenian Tech and someone whom will try and get answers to what does this mean in terms of the pressure that he's exerting. What do you see are the reasons why this pressure is being exerted by Donald Trump? And could this actually placate him? 15% is a very large number.
Thank you for inviting me. What we are witnessing is a precedent-setting moment in geopolitics of technology. The deal requiring NVIDIA and AMD to pay 15% of their China revenues to the US government is not just about market access. It is a calculated move to balance national security concerns with commercial realities which the US is living in today. One hand, the Washington has made it clear that the chips which NVIDIA is making, which is H20 and AMD MI308, are potential force multipliers to China's AI capabilities. And it is not just meant for civilian applications, but also for defense, surveillance, and autonomous weapon systems. The US industry is deeply dependent on China's market, and companies have lobbied hard, particularly to resume sales in this market. Hence, the critical question of 15% actual mitigation still has right now a lot of national security risk. It is not just merely a financial compromise. So what we are seeing is that China is still deemed as a security threat, but still plays a major role when it comes to US commercialization. Particularly, it has a major role in the royalty which it needs to pay back because of the investment it has in the US Treasury. So this particular movement is more significant when we come to technology trade, particularly transactional with respect to getting more premiums back into the US economy, because you have a lot of US investors who have invested heavily in NVIDIA today. Now, if you look at it from an India standpoint, it is more of a strategic alert where two global giants are basically fighting the battle when it comes to supply of these technologies. And today, basically, US and China are controlling this market, and purely this is market force, and they're trying to basically shape the geopolitics and the security imperative and control the market entry perspective. So India needs to develop its own indigenous capability and build on its own supply chain, not just rely on the US at this point of time.
All right. We leave it there. Thanks much for giving us that perspective. Well, viewers, when you think of Formula One, you think of a bunch of men zooming close to 400 kilometers per hour through racetracks across the world. Women are either in the pit or in the stands, never on the track. But that is set to change as the F1 Academy has opened its doors to 3 young girls with the vision of putting them on the track to race with the men in the next few years. And one of them is actually India's Atika Amir. I want to play out this report, viewers, that tells you just how much things have changed and just how much this is about India going global.
I'm a female carter, and I'm 10 years old, and I'm from India.
Meet Atika Mir, who has already created history by becoming the first Indian to land an F1 Academy spot. And that means that the kart racer is being supported by Formula One to hone her skills. She aims to find a place on the track with all the men and boys of F1 in a few years from now.
Just started very innocently in a mall, and she just tried her hand at driving one of those cars, those electric cars that go around a small track inside a mall, and it just started from there, really. And her interest grew, and I wasn't initially interested.
From Bambino to actual track, Atika journeyed in just 2 years. Now she races in the European karting circuit, doing over 20 races in a year. Her trophy cart has also been filling up fast. A vice champion in the US circuit, adding many firsts to her name that includes being an Indian and a girl to finish in the top 10 in Europe. The passion for speed comes from her father Asif, who was a racer himself.
I actually got my shot a bit later when I was in my 20s, which is considered a bit late in racing. And I happened to be India's first national karting champion.
Asif, who handles a family business, is Atika's father, coach and technical manager. There are challenges in all the roles.
The challenge is to keep the emotions out of it for me, because you want to be a coach, not a father. Put the game face on. It doesn't always work, especially when the chips are down.
The tween rarely gets an opportunity to live a life like the girls of her age.
When I see other girls doing fun stuff and playing, and I don't really have time to play, then I get a little bit upset.
Atika knows the journey from karting to F1 is long, because first she has to enter F4 by the time she is 15 years old, and then upwards onto the elite league.
My message to all the girls out there is to believe in yourself, find a passion, dream it, follow it, work hard on it, never give up, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it.
Kelsey and Reese could part exchange their car. Or check out We Buy Any Car. They could be confused if they got a good deal part exchanging. Or have cash in the bank with more bargaining power to get their dream camper van. Bad vibes or good vibes only. To get a quote in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Just sorted my guaranteed over 50 plan with Sun Life. There's even a cash payout. Nice one. It's given me the confidence to look after myself. I've started learning jiu-jitsu.
Come on! Search Sun Life Plan today and get a free gift card.
Life's full of times like this. Oh yeah. The gaps between the good stuff. Okay. Like killing time in waiting rooms. It's not long until you've had enough. David, it's time for some tombola. Bingo 90, while your car gets made all shiny.